Hey guys. Welcome to the live stream. Looks like I've got the wrong camera set up on my main video. So let's fix that. Alright, we're back. I'm not sure why it showed the wrong screen before. But it did. Now it looks like it's still showing up. Let's see. Stream Manager. Oh, okay, we're good. I'm a little crooked this morning, apparently. So, I've got a lot of stuff to ink today. I have 6 sketch card commissions, and geez, which one to start with? I have Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Let's see if I can move this over a little bit. And then I have Watchmen here. I've got Hulk. I call this hippie Hulk. It's the 1970s kind of iteration of Hulk. And we have Emma Frost from the X-Men. And I've got Lobo. So I think I'm going to start with Lobo today. Please let me know. Hey there, Matt. I also have Indiana Jones over here. But please let me know if the audio, if there's any issues, and I will do what I can to adjust that. I'm going to shake up my ink a little bit here. All right. So typically I ink with brushes. I use some pens, and you'll see some of that here this Try to get this angled a little better. I want you guys to be able to see. Cool. I think the last live stream that I did here at my desk, I didn't really have everything positioned quite right, and I had to lean forward a little too much. I think I've got a better scenario this morning. So my commission list is open. You can find out how to commission my work from my Etsy store, and there is a link that should be popping up periodically on the live feed. I've got several different options, commission options to choose from. I know a lot of people are into the sketch card covers. These are kind of unique. I don't think there's many creators doing this, but I have basically created my own sketch card covers with the logo. You can see in the, all of the cover treatment, and it's a 2-ply Bristol board, so it's the same quality of board that you would see on a sketch comic cover, and it's also the same board that is really just the industry standard for comic book art, creating comic art. These have been pretty successful so far. I'm really excited about doing more of these and different characters. I mean, I've got a pretty wide variety of commissions right now, with like Indiana Jones, the new one, Lobo, Sabrina. These are all characters I've never drawn before, so that's pretty cool. I'm always up for a challenge. Watchmen also, which is surprising because I am a Watchmen fanatic. I am a huge fan of Alan Moore's work in general, and Watchmen in particular. Definitely a comic that I always, I reread it. I don't want to say like every year, but I do reread it frequently, periodically, I guess. And every time I read Watchmen, I learn something new. There's always some subtle subtext or some visual thing that was inserted that, oh, okay, that links up with this. And there's just so much meta, I guess you would call it meta, referencing itself. And I love that stuff. Guess I could talk about Lobo since I'm inking Lobo, but honestly, I don't know much about Lobo. That's a character I never really connected with, or really, I don't know. Like when that character came out, I think I was in art college, and I didn't have any money. I was pretty broke, so I couldn't really buy comics during that time. And I think that was around like late 80s, early 90s. I think that's when Lobo first made his appearance. I'm not sure. But anyway, I kind of missed Lobo. I didn't really read the books that he was in or his own title. But Watchmen, I can pontificate about quite a lot. I need to open up my Instagram if I can see my own live stream. Yeah, that stinks. So the mobile version of Instagram, I can't view the chat. So if anybody happens to be in there, I appreciate your support, but unfortunately I can't see any comments there. But I think I've got a pretty decent setup right now because I did buy a new camera, a video camera. So I have that one positioned right above my desk as the main camera, and then I've got a second new camera that's kind of attached to my iPad, which is sitting on my desk. So I've got that camera on me, and then the iPad I have Twitch on, so I can see the chat in Twitch. So, I don't know. It's a process, I guess, figuring this stuff out. You can also find my recorded live streams over at my YouTube channel, which should pop up as well. Not seeing... Oh yeah, there they are. So you can always catch previous recordings. My hope is to eventually start doing some video tutorials and really kind of drill down to my process in segments, like inking techniques or drawing perspective, those sorts of things. I think it's something I would really like to do. Just haven't had the bandwidth really lately. The holidays, I guess, kind of makes things a little chaotic. I was going to get a new brush, but this one's really, I don't know, it's really doing really well for me right now. I've had this brush for about 10 years. And I've got this is a number 2 brush, which has really been that's really been the kind of brush I've used throughout my career. But I also have a number 0, and I guess I should put my glasses on so I can see. It's easier to ink without my glasses, but then I can't see the screen. So what are you building, Matt? What kind of Lego thing are you working on? My sons were really into Lego for years, and my aunt gave them this huge bin of Legos, and these Legos were from the 1970s. because her son was into Legos, so they're like, I don't know if there's like some kind of value to old Legos, but it was a massive bin of Lego, and they were all from the 70s. And what was cool is that periodically, well, like as we were digging into them, trying to sort them all out, there were also these old toys, like little like action figures and Hot Wheels cars that were from the 70s that were just sort of hidden away in this pile. There were 2 Star Wars figures, Chewbacca and what else? I think it was maybe Han Solo, that were from the original, the original movies. So that was really cool. Oh my God, they fell down. That reminds me of that Harrison Ford interview where they bring out the Lego Millennium Falcon. And he pretends to, it's all an act, of course, but he fumbles with it and it, falls and shatters. This ridiculously detailed, obviously time-consuming project for this guy. The Office. That's crazy. I didn't even know they made that stuff. I can't say that I ever really got into Legos. I didn't have them as a kid because I think they were too expensive for my parents to really buy or try to encourage, because I think the cost was a lot back then. I think they're still pretty pricey. I remember they were pretty expensive when I was buying them for my kids. So I didn't really get into Legos. We had cheap toys. Well, we didn't always have cheap. We had some good stuff. I don't want to say we didn't have anything. We did. We did better than a lot of kids in my neighborhood. I will say that. So I'm inking Lobo. If you're just popping in, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram or here on Twitch, and these are commissioned sketch covers that I'm inking this morning. And I'm really enjoying this one because I've never drawn Lobo before. It's always fun to really get into a new character, how I might deal with that particular character. I try to put my own spin on it a little bit. Lobo kind of looks like I don't think he came out before Watchmen. I want to say that he kind of reminds me of the comedian a little bit. But I think he actually came out after Watchmen. And when I was looking him up, his costume is not really consistent. It tends to change with every artist. So I'm just trying to create a combination of some of the things I've seen. Lobo was out 3 years. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I just assumed Lobo was like maybe an early 90s character. Interesting. Didn't Sam Keith do... Was he the creator of Lobo? I can't remember who created Lobo. I guess I should look it up. I want to say it was Sam Keith. It just kind of feels like this would be a character he would have created. Let's see if there's a different... I'm going to change my view here. Keith Giffen. Okay, right. Yeah. Trying to see activity. Channel. Where's my live? All right. I just picked up Epic Illustrated 1 and 2 last week and have been reading those. I just finished the second issue, which has this really kind of bonkers Jim Starlin sci-fi story, which I thought was really intriguing. And there's a Wendy Penny little short story that I thought was just brilliant. Man, I love that magazine, and it was so influential to me because it was one of the first. I think I bought Epic before I was buying comics. I started with Savage Sword of Conan when I was around 12, I think, or 13. And I think there was an ad for Epic or something. I don't remember how I discovered Epic, but it was around that same time that I bought an issue of Epic and was hooked. Just was really captivated by the maturity of the book, because you have that idea of what comics are. And then, because I wasn't really aware of heavy metal, and heavy metal was, it was on the top shelf and in a little bag and was next to the Hustlers. So that was always kind of intimidating when you're a little kid. Like, oh, I kind of want to read that, but I might get in trouble. So when Epic came out, it felt like that one was maybe a little more accessible. Than heavy metal, and so I bought that, and really it just kind of showed me what comics could be. Like, oh, it doesn't have to be people running around in capes and stuff. It's really this high-end art, publishing, the print, everything was so prestige. Really liked that. So it really wasn't. I really kind of found comic books after that. So I kind of had a little bit of a different gateway into comics. Yeah. Just do a little bit of dry brush. See if I can draw the little biohazard. Guess he has like a can of biohazard around his neck. I saw that on several different drawings of Lobo, so just going to carry that forward. I did put out a little Instagram post about the live stream this morning, just because I don't usually do a Sunday stream. My live streams are Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. But I've got these commissions I have to get finished today. I have to finish those. So I figured I might as well live stream it. So if you'll notice, I ink from the right to the left, and I do that because I'm left-handed, and this usually prevents me from accidentally smearing the ink as I'm inking. Little cross hatching. Anyway, Epic Illustrated, I'm trying to slowly rebuild my collection. I never had all of them as a kid. I only had, I think I ended up with 6 or 7 issues of it, and then my parents found out about it, and they made me throw them away because there was a lot of nudity and probably more violence than I should have been looking at at that age. So I was pretty pissed off at the time about it, but now that I am a parent, I totally get it. But anyway, I think I have maybe around 15 issues, but I don't have the full run yet, and it's not something I'm hell-bent on completing. But whenever I see something here and there, I see an issue that I don't have, I usually try to, unless it's just not priced correctly, I'll pick it up. And I got issue 1 and 2, and they were both at a really reasonable price, and they were in good condition. And whenever I do a comic show, I try to find time to get out there and get something, even if it's just something small, like just a missing issue from some run that I need. He's got a leather jacket on, so I'm gonna put get a lot of black on this. All right, we're just about done with Mr. Lobo. So my process is a little different. I mean, not that it's revolutionary or anything. It's not, but I usually I pencil digitally. So these blue lines that you see, those were all drawn in Clip Studio Paint. That's a app that's specifically created for comic book artists, and so I do most of my penciling in there because it's just a more efficient way for me to work. I can make corrections, I can do redraws quicker, and in comics, comics just don't pay a lot, to be honest. It's just not that great, I mean, it can be, and I've had some really good success in it, but it's also hard, and it's so anytime I have an opportunity to work smarter, then I do that, and it saves time, and so penciling it digitally has just been my method for the last few years. And then I basically turn it into blue lines that you see here on the board. Oh, 6 or 7 issues? I think I may have been talking about Epic Illustrated. Oh, and the brush, so the brush does hold a lot of ink. It just kind of soaks in there. And I've learned over the years how to kind of gauge how much ink to put on a brush, because if you put too much on it, then it bubbles, and then you get this mess on the board. Alright. We just gotta finish his cigar. That's the other reason I like the number 2 is because it does hold a lot of ink, so you're not wasting time, too much time, dipping your brush back in, and it's just really, I think, the most success in comics comes to those who learn how to work efficiently and fast. And I've actually learned to slow down because I used to work, I think, a little too fast, and sometimes quality suffers when you've got a deadline or you've got to get something out. And I've really learned to slow down and just do better work. Alright, we're just about to the finish line on Lobo. Get his cigar smoke. And the other cool thing about this process is there's no pencil lines to erase. There's no... it's just a very clean looking piece. Just going to do a few little refinements here. There it is. I'm trying to get it all in view. So I gotta try to find my pens over here. I usually get the pins out kind of at the end if I want to do a few little things to clean it up. Little added details. And the beauty of this is after I ship this off, I will be creating an art print for sale of all of the commission pieces. So I try to make my art accessible and affordable. You know, if you can't afford the original, I do offer really high quality art prints that they really look and feel almost identical to the original art. You can find some of those over at my eBay store. The link should be there on the bottom left. It will pop up. You just gotta wait for it to cycle through all my other channels. So I have a pretty good range of original art and art prints. New items daily. I have a pretty big inventory of art that I'm selling. And that includes new works too. Once new works I try to get up there too. Alright, I think we're done with Lobo. I'm just going to sign it. $20.25. All right. One down. 5 to go. We'll set this one aside. Let's ink Supreme Emma Frost. I think I'll take care of this one next. She's another character that seems like she looks different every time she shows up. A lot of artists draw her differently. I chose the classic Emma Frost costume, and her hair is a little straighter in the original, her early appearances, but I decided to give it a little more bounce. Because again, her hairstyle seems to change as well, so doesn't seem to be any real definitive way to draw her hair. This, of course, is one of oh, thanks, Matt. Appreciate that prompt. Yeah, the problem is I can't really see who's on Instagram, if anybody's on Instagram. It may just be quiet. Emma Frost is one of Chris Claremont's typical kind of, I don't know, dominatrix characters. He tended to present characters like this, or at least their costumes or whatnot. But I will say Chris Claremont did empower women characters more than any other creator. He really transformed Storm. She was really not a strong character when she was first created, and then Chris Claremont really transformed her to the point where she was the leader of the X-Men. She had this really kind of badass leather punk rock outfit and a mohawk. You know, he really took a lot of risks with that character. And of course with Phoenix, famously changing Marvel Girl into Phoenix, and then to Dark Phoenix. So he really, for whatever, I don't know what his popularity level is these days. I think he still has a base of fans, but you know, he did do a lot to push female characters to the forefront. And then other creators followed suit. John Byrne changed Invisible Girl to Invisible Woman. And these seem like, today, like, not a big deal. But it was a big deal. In the 80s, the 1980s, when Byrne changed her to the Invisible Woman, and also really kind of toughened her up as well. That really was kind of a big deal. And not just because she was one of the original Marvel staple characters. You know, Fantastic Four is the sort of considered the birth of the Marvel Universe, modern Marvel Universe. So that was a pretty big news in comics. Malice, that's right. Yeah, that was from who was that? This what was his name? Psycho Man, that messed with her emotions and changed her into this bad guy for a while. And then she decided to change her name to Invisible Woman. I remember that story arc. challenge with this one, this Emma Frost, was to render her beautiful, but really deeply evil. And so I really worked on this face to convey this kind of darkness to her. I don't know what the character's like now. Maybe she's in the X-Men. It wouldn't surprise me if she is. I don't follow the new stuff, but she was a bad guy at the beginning. A little mannish. Yeah, she's got a little bit of a little masculine look to her as well, and here kind of made her jawline a little wider. Yes, I'm doing a live stream right now. That's my son. They always want something. I usually always ink hair with a brush, even if I'm using a pen for other parts. I just feel like it needs that flowy, organic look. I learned how to ink hair from Jerry Bingham. Jerry Bingham was a pretty prolific artist in the late 70s and 80s at Marvel, and then he went on to he drew the Batman Son of the Demon graphic novel in the 80s. That was kind of his big claim to fame, I think. Well deserved. And then he was hired by Malibu Comics as the I don't remember what his title was, but he was sort of a mentor to the art department. He would come in and show us techniques, and he was just there for that creative management. And he taught me how to ink hair or draw hair. And his advice was to draw it like they're layers. They're sort of like tapered layers, and you just draw them in sections, and then you fill in those details. So that's kind of where I get that technique. I still use it. Another little trick for inking here is I kind of put the brush a little further back, and that gives me the ability to create kind of broader strokes and a little looser. She's got this little weird brooch thing here. So if you're just hopping into the live feed, I am inking this morning. It's kind of a impromptu live stream. I usually do the live streams Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, but today I have several commissions to finish, so I decided to live stream that. These are custom-made sketch card covers, so I create my own covers with the logo and title treatment. They are on comic-sized 2-ply Bristol board, so they're the same kind of paper that you would see on a sketch card comic. These have proven to be pretty successful. So I have 6 of them to do this morning. Ink. They're penciled. I just have to ink them. All right. Good to have you here. Thank you for your support, Matt. Just about done with Emma Frost of the X-Men. And if you would like a commissioned piece, either a sketch card or just a straight up comic commission, you can go over to my Etsy store. There's a link there on the bottom left. And I have several different options for comic commissions. Several to fit your budget, let's just say. I try to provide different, I guess, tiers you would call it, depending on what you can afford. I kind of wish I had printed a little dot gradient, like a little zipatone gradient here. I didn't think about that, but that's all right. I think I can kind of duplicate that. I might just do the lines, but I'm going to let this dry for just a minute. And then next up is, let's ink Sabrina. So this is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is another commission that I penciled, and I will be inking that shortly. You can see I'm trying to get it all in the frame here. But I have a Watchman. This is going to be fun. This is really just a straight up homage to Dave Gibbons. And I've got Hulk and Indiana Jones. And I just finished Lobo. Try to position this camera just a little bit different. Just a little adjustment here. So anyway, that's Lobo. That's one I've just completed this morning. I am going to take a minute to clean my brush. I'm going to step away for just a minute. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. It's an inking extravaganza this morning. I'm going to be inking several commission pieces, and so stick around. I will be right back. I'm back. Had to take a little intermission for a couple of reasons. One of them was to get some water, and I really needed to let this ink dry. So I need a ruler. I gotta find my ruler. Okay. I'm inking a Emma Frost commission. It's a sketch card cover, custom made. I make my own sketch card covers, and they are pretty cool, I think. I'm really just creating my own little screen effect, shading effect. This is the same ruler. I've had this ruler since art school. I graduated in 1990. This was, they basically supply you with just a kit of art supplies, and this ruler was in that kit, and I think it's the only thing that has survived, and I still use it. And it includes all these different measurements that are completely obsolete now for traditional graphic design, which everything is computer now, so it's a bit of a dinosaur of a ruler, but I'll give you a little tour of my ancient ruler. It's got type point size, for typesetting, things that we don't do. I mean, we do it, but it's all kind of automated digitally now. It shows like here are the typewriter keys, the little standard numbering, standard 10 characters per inch in a typewriter. So it's got all these really obsolete measurements. It's pretty cool to look at. Pica measurements. Yeah, it's got all these little instructions on it. Anyway, enough of that. Alright, I'm just going to do just a little bit of little subtle refinements here. A few things. So this is my special inking extravaganza today. I'm typically not doing the live stream on a Sunday, but I have 6 commissions to finish inking, and this is the second one. I just finished a Lobo commission. If you were here for that, or if you missed it, you can always catch my recordings over on my YouTube channel. think we're done with Emma. A couple little things here. All right. I keep saying I'm done. I find like one more thing. All right, we'll sign this one. Keep finding little things I need to kind of clean up, tighten up a little bit. So even though this is a commission piece, I will be offering very high quality art prints of this over on my eBay store, and you can find that from the link there on the bottom left. It should pop up. I've got links to my Patreon page and Etsy. Etsy is where you can commission original comic art. I have several different price tiers. Hope you'll check that out, see what might fit your budget. And then eBay, I have a lot of original art and art prints for sale, and so this one will be joining that shop. That way I'm trying to make my art more accessible. The prints are cheaper, of course, because they are not original art, but they look and feel almost identical to the original. They are printed on the same paper, very high quality print, rich blacks, very sharp. They look really good, and they look so good that I have to put a little note on it that reads art print, because I don't want that stuff ending up in the wrong hands, so to speak. Somebody might try to pass it off as an original and it's not, so I do make it very clear both in the listing and on the art itself that it is an art print. And I know that's okay for some people. They're not really hung up on owning the original versus a really high quality print. Just adding a few little touches. All right, I'm going to sign this. And I do hard sign the art prints, so it will have my signature on the art print. I usually use like a silver pen or a gold pen for that, just so it's distinguished from the printed signature. Alright, there she is. Now, let's fix her eye. I know I keep saying I'm done. Alright. What's next? Inking extravaganza this morning. We've got Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Gotta find my brush. I seem to have misplaced my brush. Zero. Hello.
Hello.
Doing my live stream right now.
Oh,
Yep, it's a live stream extravaganza.
woohoo! I like it.
I must have left my brush downstairs. Alright. One moment, please. Back.
Dogs are coming in.
Okay. I went downstairs to clean my brush and then I left it down there. So that's why I had to go back down. Alright, so we're inking. I don't know why I say we. It's literally just me inking. I'm inking Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is another commission sketch card. And if you're interested in having something commissioned, hit me up. My list is open. You can head over to my Etsy store and place an order there. Super simple. Just let me know. Brief description of what you'd like drawn. I have 3 more to ink after this. My goal is to get them all finished today. This was an interesting one because I've never drawn Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I always like getting these commissions of characters I haven't really dealt with. I mean, I enjoy drawing the usual suspects, of course. The Marvel and DC characters usually are the ones that are the most popular, but I do like inking some other franchise characters as well. I get a few of those, but it seems to be mostly the superhero stuff. So anyway, if you're interested in a commission, I do have pretty good rates, I think, pretty good prices over on my Etsy store to choose from. And this person who commissioned it, they wanted the more modern Sabrina, so that's why I drew her like this. It seems to be the more modern style. Although I snuck in the classic logo. And my commission list is open right now because I am taking a little break from my comic book project. It's a sequel to Saga of a Doomed Universe. And I have the first 2 issues completed. It's a 3-issue miniseries, and I'm going to be starting on the 3rd and final issue in January. So I've got a little bit of bandwidth to take on some commissions. Don't know much about this character. I didn't really follow the Archie comics as a kid. I mean, I had like the digests that they published. I think they still publish those. They were reprints. And I remember owning those, like maybe 1 or 2, but it just never really landed with me. And I know they've rebooted the franchise, and it's a pretty popular series of books now, but it's definitely got a more modern feel to it. Ink her face. So if you've joined from Instagram, unfortunately, I cannot see any comments from Instagram. That's just, I guess, the nature of Streamlabs. I have the multi-view, multi-chat, multi-everything, but can't see the comments on Instagram. So if you're there, I appreciate your support. Hope you're enjoying watching this inking extravaganza. So next up, I'll just give you the rundown. This one I have left. I've got Indiana Jones commission. I've got Hulk. This is what I call hippie Hulk from the 70s. He had the long hair. And Watchmen. I've got a Rorschach commission. So those are what's left, and then this was the first one I inked this morning, which was Lobo, DC Comics Lobo, and just finished the Emma Frost from the X-Men.
You about ready to stop for lunch?
Yeah. So I am going to be, I think I'm going to probably stop the live stream soon. I'm going to continue working, of course, on these commissions today, but I think that's going to be the end of the live stream inking extravaganza in a moment. So I want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting the live stream and my work. I really do appreciate that. If you haven't yet, I hope you'll subscribe to my Twitch channel. You can also find me on YouTube and Instagram. I am doing the live streams daily, Monday through Friday, typically 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Today was a little different just because I've got all these commissions to finish. And like I mentioned before, if you are interested in commissioning some comic art, head over to my Etsy store. There's some great deals there. I've got different options, different tiers of pricing, whatever fits your budget. I probably have something there that will work for you. And it's super easy to order. You just pick the one you want, you order it, you include a little note about what you would like drawn, and then I will get in touch with you, and I may have a question or two, but generally it's a pretty smooth process from ordering to getting the original art shipped to you. And you can also find other original art from me that really stretches back to the 90s. I have stuff from Marvel, my time at Marvel, and Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics, other publishers. I've got original art. I've got art prints. My art prints look and feel like original art. They look almost identical. It's just I have a very high quality process that I use to print my art prints, and they are a little more affordable than the original art. So if that's something that you are interested in, you can visit my eBay store. The links are there on the bottom left. They pop in. I think they rotate between Etsy, eBay, and Patreon. Patreon I haven't really talked about, but Patreon is really where it's kind of like my regularly, it's hard to say, updated blog, and I post works in progress. As I mentioned, I am an active comic book creator in the industry. I've got a sequel I'm working on to Saga of a Doomed Universe, which was a book published in 2023. And so you can get a sneak preview, exclusive preview there on Patreon, as well as art prints. I've got physical posters that go out to, I think it's tier 4 members, maybe tier 3. I'd have to look. So there's lots of really good rewards there. We're just about done with Sabrina. Just going to do the little Kirby crackle, as they call it. And these sketch card covers will also be available as art prints soon over at my eBay store. And they are hard signed by me. I have several of those actually for sale right now, and they are a little less than the original art, because I know sometimes that's a factor. You know, can't always get the originals. Hey, there's the really good quality art print that you can buy. I went biking yesterday, mountain biking. We call it mountain biking in Florida, but it's really just trails. Some are pretty technical, not easy. You definitely have to work for it, but it's just something I do for exercise, and it's just fun. Anyway, I went yesterday. Weather was beautiful, and I did not fall. I tend to have little mishaps on the trail. And I've got an e-bike, which, despite what you may have heard, it still requires a lot of pedaling. It's still a lot of work. I guess what it does is it just kind of gives you a little gentle push. And those are really helpful for people like me whose knees are not great. Anyway, it was a good ride. And the weather has turned really nice here finally, so we can get out and kind of get out and do stuff again. The Kirby Crackle. It really amazes me that the scope of what Jack Kirby accomplished in comics and what he set as the standard. And we, as comic fans and creators, we forget that so much of this came from Jack Kirby. Kirby Crackle, this cosmic effect, these little dots, we take for granted, I guess you could say now. That's just, well, we know what that is, what it implies visually. But Kirby came up with this. Like, who would have thought to just, hey, I'm just going to do a bunch of little perfectly uniform circles, perfectly shaped circles, and sort of kind of bunch them up and arrange them so it kind of looks like energy. That's genius, you know. Like, who would have thought to do that, and who would have thought that would look good, right? But it does look good. It looks great, and it's so energy. It's just got so much energy to it. All right, let's just get these little sparkly things. Trying not to touch the ink here. Kind of got ink everywhere now with these Kirby Crackles. And these came from just various online sources. I was trying to find some sort of energy or supernatural visual effect. And so these are a couple of things I saw online. I just combined them. Alright, that's it. The only thing I have to do is draw her broomstick, and I'm going to wait for the ink to dry to do that because I don't want to smear any of this ink with the ruler. But that's that. I think she turned out pretty nicely. So that's it for me today. That's the little inking extravaganza, and I appreciate your support and hanging out. Again, I've got links there at the bottom left. You can find out more about me and my work. You can commission original art. I know I'm kind of like crooked with my camera, but I've got my desk at an angle, so that's just how it looks. Besides, it looks more dynamic, right? It's kind of got that Adam West Batman kind of look. Everything is at an angle. Anyway, that's it. Hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys Monday.